Okay, okay, okay. Looks like we got everything up and running. Welcome back to another set review, partial set review here, the Tarkir Dragonstorm. We're going to be going through the multicolored and colorless portion of the set. We'll probably cover lands at the very end. Go ahead here and turn on the camera. Hello, and welcome back. All right. Let's see. All right, let's fire it off here. We've got this is the biggest portion of the set. We're in the home stretch. We've done all 5 colors, and now we're on to multicolored and colorless. This is where the set kind of culminates, and we'll probably have its more powerful cards. So there's probably going to be a lot to reflect on while we're going through this portion of the set. So let's get it started. Barren Steppe Siege. 2, 1 white and 1 black. As this enchantment enters, choose Abzan or Mardu. Abzan side. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's strong. Turns your 1 drops into large creatures over a period of time. It's a little slow, but if we've talked about this before, it all depends on how the format shapes up. If things are a little bit more board stally, this mode will make all the difference in your game. If the format is not board stally and it comes down to just spot removal and large threats, and people are basically kind of going into top deck mode, playing one threat, getting it removed, playing another threat, getting it removed, back and forth kind of gameplay, then that top mode's going to have no effect whatsoever. Mardu. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. That's automatically going to have an impact if you're in Mardu and you're producing the tokens. What you should do is just, potentially keep attacking, making those immobilized tokens, having them sack a creature every single turn. Especially if you have something that can get through that might be unblockable, or the combo that we spoke about back when we went over red, where you can pay 2, make the other creature unblockable. They might be able to get in with mobilize a unit. Then that creature would get sacrificed. Then they have to sack a creature. That's probably the more powerful side of the card, especially when you're playing into a bigger green. Like if you're playing into Teamer and you activate the Mardu side of this, you're probably just going to win the game. It will be really strong. They'll have to sacrifice. They'll basically be sacrificing cards for your tokens. So something to keep in mind. This enchantment could be really good. Probably a bomb enchantment. I would definitely pick it. Go into Mardu if I saw this. Abzan, like I said before, depends on how the format shapes up. Overall, I'm going to just give the card. Everything's very hard to judge, but I do think that this has some play to it. I don't think this can win the game on its own. So you probably have to put it into a low B or high C. I'm probably going to go with B- just because I think that this card does have a lot of potential. Oh, there's my doggo. He's barking. The mailman must be here. Hardened Tactician for 1, a black and a white. You pay 1, sacrifice a token, draw a card. This is good. So you will be having mobilized tokens coming out in Mardu. The issue is that this card's not red. A lot of the mobilized units or things that can produce those tokens are in red. So I think that you're going to be forced into playing 3 colors with this card. However, you're going to be able to constantly draw free cards whenever they sacrifice those mobilized tokens. Or whenever they block those mobilized tokens, or before the end of the turn when you can sacrifice those tokens. Overall, this card is good. At worst, it's a 2/4 for 3. So it has to be a B-, I think. Marshal of the Lost. 2, a black and a white. Death Touch. Whenever you attack, target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of attacking creatures. This is strong with the Mobilize effect, but like we said before, there's a lot more of it in red, I feel like, than in white. So this card's good. You'd probably be full Mardu if you play this. You're going to be very aggressive. This card's going to do some damage. You don't even have to attack with this card to trigger the effect. So it's free effect on the board, and it's a Death Touch blocker if they want to attack into it. I think that you have to give this card a B-. Maybe it's a C+. It might be a C+ just because of its stats, but I think it's a good card. Purging Stormbrood. Instant Omen for 1 and a white. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink and hexproof until end of turn. So this is basically a counter spell that gets shuffled back into your deck. It can also be the effect that gives you the life to turn the corner. So this, in my opinion, is an insanely good combat trick because it's attached to a creature. If this creature's any good, this card is probably bonkers and standard playable. Flying Ward, pay 2 life. When this creature enters, remove all counters from up to 1 target creature. If it said 1 target permanent, this card would be insane. The creature side's not that good. It's good enough, and it's bomby for limited format. But I was thinking that this would potentially be something that may have been standard playable just due to the front half of it. Gave it hexproof, and then being able to lifelink are 2 major things for control if you're trying to turn the corner. So I think that this is like a B-. It does a lot. These Omen cards are really strong. Say it again. Strong. Effortless Master. Vigilance. Menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. This creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it if you've cast 2 or more spells this turn. This is... If this is the second spell cast, I think that if it is the second spell cast, that it triggers. So it'd be a 6/5 Vigilance Menace, but you'd have to pay 5 because you don't have a free spell. Ramping is really important in this format for red. It's just weird. You can play like big red, I feel like, in this format. This is red blue, or is it? But I think overall this card's probably like a... these cards are all pretty good. This has got to be a B-, C+. At worst, it's a 4/3 Menace. Vigilance. Doesn't really block that well, but it blocks. So if this thing had like prowess on it, it'd be so good. Alright, next up. Frostcliff Siege. 1 and a blue and a red. So this is the Jeskai Teamer enchantment. As this enchantment enters, choose Jeskai or Teamer. Jeskai. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Teamer. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample and haste. The Jeskai side is good. The Teamer side is good. They're just situational and dependent on the deck. Clearly drawing cards is good. Every one of your creatures having the deals damage draw card effect is just very strong. They should come up with a name for that effect and just give it a thing. I don't know what it's called, what they would call it, but just give it a solidified name. Um, the haste part of this card is good, and then trample too. Like you're getting through the damage even if they block. So you're gonna use this in almost every scenario. The teamer side is also good because it can get a creature that's power 3 up to power 4 so that your power 4 or greater things are turned on. This card is. I don't think it takes. Maybe it does take over the game. These cards feel like they kind of take over the game in their own little way. Like you're now forced to play around what this card may do, may be capable of doing. So there's a lot of unblockables and things like that you could do with Jeskai. Kind of just make this a little nuts. So you could attack with a creature that has. So a real interesting thing you could do with this one is play a mobilized creature on turn 1 or 2, and then play this on 3 with Jeskai. Then you attack and you draw 2. So it's just like insanely strong. Yeah, this is going to definitely, the Jeskai side is definitely going to take over games because now you've just drawn 2. You're up at 7 cards again. You're on the play or something like that. It's over. Nothing's not happening for them. If you pass to your turn, you draw, you're up to 7. And you're like, what do I do now? And then you attack. You can draw 2 more again. Yeah, this card's really good. B plus or B. I'd give it a B, B plus. There's just too. This card feels like it's going to be too easy to Jeskai. Glacial Dragon Hunt. Draw a card, then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Glacial Dragon Hunt deals 3 damage to target creature. Okay. So for red and blue, you can deal 3. I wish it was instant. But you have to discard a non-land. Oof. Oof. Ugh. I don't know about this card. I feel like there's going to be a lot of scenarios where like you either don't have a land to discard or the card that you want to discard. Like you don't want to discard the non-land, or it's just not going to feel great. I have to give this like a C minus. You're gonna see it used, but I just don't like this card. Runescale Stormbrood. Let's see, the Omen first. Chilling Screech, 1 and a blue, instant. Counter target spell with mana value 2 or less. Okay, so it's Spell Snare for 2. Or, for 4 mana, you get a flying. Whenever you cast non-creature spell or dragon spell, this creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. These cards do pretty good. I can't recall the Drake from the school set, but it was very strong. I think that's the set it was in. It would come in, it would draw a card, and then its power was equal to like the instants and sorceries in your graveyard. It was pretty nuts. But this is more of a combo-y one because you have to actually cast them on that turn. If you have the one pump spell in this format, it's actually an enchantment, isn't it? But that does trigger it. So it'd be +2, then another +2 with that. This card's decent. I don't think it's anything to be too up in arms about. I think that you're gonna maybe use the counter spell to just fade their 2-drop and then hopefully draw a creature later. I'm not even excited to put this into my deck, I don't think. But because I think I'm trying to go in a different direction if I'm playing blue-red. So I think that this is okay. It's just there. It just exists kind of thing. I think it's like a C. Just a flat C. Alright, up next, we have another Omen. Destroy target creature with power 3 or less. For Petty Revenge, sorcery speed, 1 and a black. That's good. That's very good. The other side is Disrupted Stormbrood, 4 and a green, flying. When this creature enters, destroy up to one target artifact or enchantment. So this card is just so good. I like this card. I think B plus. You're happy to take this card and take it early because you're not stuck. Like if you play Sultai, for example, you're happy. Or if you end up in Teamer, you're happy to splash a single black into your deck and get the Petty Revenge side as well. So I mean, I would play this for either side of it almost. The issue kind of comes with these Omen cards when you're just casting the Omen side over and over again, or you cast it once and then you hope you never draw it because all you can cast is like the Omen side, and it doesn't hit anything on their board. So if you cast Petty Revenge and you killed off like their low creatures, but they have a bunch of big guys on the board, the worst card you could draw in your deck is destroy a small creature if all they have is big guys. So, and you just shuffled it back in your deck. So I could see that being bad with this card. Alright. Hollow Merc Siege, black and a green. As this enchantment enters, choose Sultai or Abzan. We're on to the Abzan Sultai one now. Whenever a counter is put on a creature you control, draw a card. Okay. This ability triggers only once each turn. That's not as good as the Jeskai one, but it does come down on turn 2. And you're going to be able to probably trigger it for the rest of the game. So you're going to be drawing 2 cards a turn for the rest of the game. Okay. Kind of sold on that. Abzan, whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains menace until the end of turn. Alright. That one's not bad either. So I do think this is good enough to take over the game with its Sultai side. So I'm going to put this in a B+. It's not hard to play, to build around this, especially if you get it early. Picking it up late is going to be the issue in draft. So if you see it late, you hope you have the counters to make it work. If you see it early, you just force the counters to make this work, right? It's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the Jeskai one. The Jeskai one is better, but I still like this one. All right, up next, Host of the Hereafter. This creature enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. For 2, a black and a green. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, put its counters on up to 1 target creature you control. So it's a 4/4 for 4 that when it dies you get to move 2 counters, or any counters that are on your battlefield if those creatures die. Okay, not bad. Interesting. You just got to give this card like a C+ or a B-. It's good. It's definitely going to do a lot of work in the decks that have counters, but if you don't have any other creatures or creature synergy, or if people exile things, you're not going to get the benefit. So it just depends on how it plays out. Just on face value, like I said, it's got to be a B-. B-. Stalwart Successor. 1 black and a green. Menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Whenever 1 or more counters are put on a creature you control, if it's the first time counters have been put on that creature this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. It's definitely not bad. I don't think it's going to run away the game. Actually, it has Menace. This is a pretty decent card. It's aggressive. It's good for its colors. It doubles counters. You could do it on multiple creatures, so you could do it on multiple creatures in the same turn as long as it's just separate instances. It's pretty strong. I don't think that this is better than a C plus or B minus. It's not going to win you the game, but it's definitely giving you a direction and some more counter synergy. It might win you the game with its menace, especially if you can double the counters, but, you know. Standalone on its own, top decking, coming down as a 3-2, it's still a little weak, right? Corey, Mountain Stalwart. For 1, a red, and a white. Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, this creature deals 2 damage to each opponent, and you gain 2 life. So it's like a baby Helix. Baby Helix is good. Where's my water? It's interesting that this is white because you really just want to be blue and red in doing this, I think. But it really depends on what's available in white for second spells. So I'm going to have to give this a B minus. C plus again. Which is weird. All these things are getting B minus, C pluses, but they're all good. They're all good. They're all pretty freaking good. They're good standalones. They're all good stats. Things are just playable these days. Frontline Rush. 1 red, 1 white. Choose 1. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. That can blow somebody out or just straight up kill them. So this is an interesting combat trick. This would be the reason to play red-white. Yeah, right. This is be like one of the main reasons to play red-white is just to get this combat trick. You can just straight out win the game with this combat trick. I'm gonna have to give it a B. This is the best combat trick in the format, probably. You're probably going to get got by this once and be upset. At the best, it wins the game with the amount of creatures you control. When one of them isn't blocked, you just bam, win the game. Or it flashes in 2 goblins to block something or 2 things. Very strong card. And they're goblins. Yeah, this is a good card. Alright, next up we have another Omen. Charring Bite deals 5 damage to target creature without flying for 1 and a red. That's very strong. I will take that and I will play it and I will cast it at the first ground threat I see and be kind of happy about it. And the other side is flying. Whenever this creature enters, you gain 5 life for 5 and a white. I do think that these omens are traps, though. I noticed the last one was a trap where it only dealt with creatures that were power 3 or less. So if they have all flying creatures and you have this in your deck because you shuffled it back in, you're kind of upset about it. However, this side is flying, so this one's not as bad as the other one would be, right? Because the other one's just playing 3/3 or whatever it was. So for 5 and a white, we get a Twin Maw Stormbrood flying. When this creature enters, you gain 5 life. This is a good card. This will swing games. It'll be a blocker. It'll be gain you 5 life. Yeah. You'll see people playing Teamer and then adding white for this, probably. I know I would. Just good. It's just good. That means you could run Jeskai, colored lands and stuff like that. So everything but black. You know, you'd be looking at the monasteries and stuff. It'd be good. This is a good card. Give it a B plus. Windcrag Siege. 1, a red and a white. As this enchantment enters, choose Mardu or Jeskai. Mardu. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control, to trigger that ability triggers an additional time. Is it triggered me? Is it triggered of me to be triggered by all these triggers? But I digress. If a creature attacking causes triggered ability of permanent control to be triggered, it triggers an additional time. Okay. So every mobilize, all right? Yeah. So that's just what it is every mobilize is doubled. So if you're a mobilized deck, I think you might be in the market for this, but it might mess up your curve. It just depends on what your deck looks like. The Jeskai side, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains lifelinking and haste until end of turn. Okay, so this is just permanent tokens. They don't have to attack. They don't have to do anything. They just get to chill out. These are good. Yeah, this is good. All of these enchantments have been so good. I got to give this one a B. There's no reason to give it anything less than a B. It's just good. It should probably give it a B plus. Royal Procession for green and a blue. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. I'm not a big fan of these cards. I don't want to get cards back from my graveyard. I don't really care if it's in my graveyard. I kind of want to just use it. I'd like to delve cards away that are in my graveyard. I'm not trying to pay extra mana to pick a card from my graveyard. If I wanted to pay 2 mana to pick a card, I'd pay 2 mana to Demonic Tutor for a card in my deck. Because I know it's in my deck. I don't know if it's going to be in my graveyard when I want it. However, if you have an insanely insane broken bomb or multiple insanely broken bombs, that's when this card gets a lot more value, because you'll probably get a chance to get your insanely good broken bomb back from your graveyard. So, or board wipes, right? If you want to cast board wipes multiple times, this is probably where you'd want to be. I do think that this isn't that good of a card, even though it is instant speed. So I am going to give it a... I'm going to give it a C- for draft, because it's still playable. And then in constructed, it's got to be higher than that. I'm just not going to give it a rating, because it's probably going to be broken. Alright. Glacier Wood Siege. 1, a green and a blue. As this enchantment enters, choose Temur or Sultai. Temur, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, target player mills 4 cards. Sultai, you may play lands from your graveyard. I mean, the Temur side does win you the game. There's no reason to not play the Temur side, other than it doesn't impact the board. But 4 cards a turn? I mean, it could be... You could do 12 cards the next turn. The Sultai side, not very good. I think this card is actually a bomb. That's why I'm going to give it a B+. I think it's just the Temur side that's good, and you're going to have to build a deck for it. I'm just not sure what you'll play. There's no reason to play the Sultai side, though, I don't think. I mean, it is Crucible Worlds, which is cool, right? Play land cards from your graveyard, but it just doesn't. It's not going to impact you in the format. So, Teamer side is a win con though, especially if you have like all the cheap Jeskai spells and stuff like that. You can probably win the game off of this side. Um, it has to be instant or sorcery. Maybe I just give this a B. Yeah, I'll just give it a B for now. Kishla Skimmer. For a green and a blue, flying. Whenever a land leaves your graveyard during your turn, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. I'm not a fan of this. It's a 2/2 for 2 in the air. I mean, I'm down. But you're never going to draw a card off that. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Sure. I wish it was instant speed. Whirlwind Stormbrood for 4 and a blue. Flash flying. You may cast sorcery spells and dragon spells as though they had flash. The fact that this has flash is really cool. The fact that it gives your sorcery spells flash is really interesting. I don't know what to think about this card. I wish I would have known that this card was a thing because this card's interesting. I want to give it just a B. But I think this is going to be a really interesting thing to try to figure out. Because you could just then leave up counter magic. There's just not enough good counter magic in the format. So we'll see how things shape up. Alright, we have Armament Dragon. He's Abzan. 3 and white, black, green. Flying. When this creature enters, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 or 3 target creatures you control. He's a 3/4. So he could put them all on himself. So he could be a 6/7 for 6. Flying. Yeah, that's really, really, really good. Is this like the Pack Beast or whatever from the other one? I swear there was a caravan or something that did the same thing. I don't know. He's good. Beator. My boy Beator. Kin to all. 2. 1 white, black, and green. Flying. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. Then, if creatures you control have total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Then if creatures you control have toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half of their life. I don't think the half their life thing matters. Unless you're playing, what's it called? Like standard or something like that. The 10 toughness thing is possible for it to trigger with only one other creature, so I think that makes him still good. So at the very worst, he's a 5/7 for 5 flying. Really good. If you start to draw cards off of him because you have another creature, he's going to win you the game. He dodges most of the removal in the format. He's a bomb. He has to be an A. He's got to be an A-. I think this thing should be an A- as well. So he's got to be an A. He blocks everything, doesn't die to anything for 5 mana. Yep. Draws you cards. Can't really beat that. Next up, we have Felithar Dawn of Abzan. 1 white, 1 black, 1 green. Trample. Whenever Felithar enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a non-land permanent. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So you could cast this after you attacked on turn 2 and you had a mobilized token. Then you'd be able to sack the mobilized token that was going to die anyway, to put a +1/+1 counter on Felithar. See, like, all of this stuff is how it could curve out, not how it probably will go. How it probably will go is you'll probably just have a bear, and then you'll have her, and then maybe. The real question is, I think when you attack, you can make the mobilized tokens before you sacrifice. That would be the real question. I don't think you can. I don't know. The trigger goes on the stack. So, yes, you can. So you can put this trigger on the stack and then put the other trigger on the stack. You should be able to. You should be able to. And that makes her good if you have other mobilize. So I could see her being played in like Mardu Green, I guess. I think red has good mobilize. All right, next up we have Kin Tree Severance. This is one of those like the dual modality cards that for the mana where you can either pay 2 colorless or 1 white. So this is a total of 6 mana, or white, black, or green. Exile target permanent with mana value 3 or greater. Good card. This is pretty nuts. Gonna probably see play in standard. All your threats that you see that exist in most formats are usually more than 3 mana. So this should deal with almost every threat. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this card a... This might be the highest rated removal. If this is the highest rated removal, it should probably be an A-. But I think I'm going to give it a B+ anyway. I think this is an A-. But you have to be an Abzan, pretty much. I'm almost happy to cast this for 6. So when you think about it like that, and if you're playing like Jeskai, you could pay 5, exile permanent with mana value 3 or greater. I think you still do that. It's a permanent. You could get rid of their Oblivion Ring that's holding down your creature. You can get rid of an enchantment. You can get rid of an artifact. It's just a good card. It's got to be an A-. All right, Paranation 3, and then Abzan, white, black, green. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof counter on it and an indestructible counter on it. We talked about this earlier. I'm not a big fan of getting things back from my graveyard. Usually you're probably going to be dead by the point that this actually matters, I would think. Like, I don't... if you're playing another aggressive deck, for sure, you're probably dead. But if you do manage to pull this off and you get something big back from your graveyard, the fact that this goes straight to the battlefield instead of to your hand like the other card, big difference. So if you do pull this off on a decent sized creature, you will probably win the game. It also provides you with 2 counters, which there's a lot of stuff in these colors that either count the counters or can manipulate counters in one way or another. So keep that in mind. Next up, Reputable Merchant for white, black, green, or 2 colorless for each. Whenever this creature enters or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. When it comes in, it's just a 2/2 that pumps something. And then when it dies, it pumps something else. So I'm not the biggest on this one. I think this is just a C-. Definitely playable, but I'm not trying to play it for 6. So unless I'm absolutely in Abzan, I'm definitely not picking this card, kind of thing. Revival of the Ancestors. Create 3/1/1. Okay, so this is a saga. 1 white, a black, and a green. Saga trigger 1 at a time. The first one will trigger on the turn you play it. The second one will trigger on the start of the next turn, and so on with the third or fourth part of the saga. The first part, create 3/1/1 white spirit creature tokens. So very simple. You play this card on turn 4, and you will create 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens. On the next turn at the start, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control. So you can then pump up creatures with permanent counters. Creatures you control then gain trample and lifelink until end of turn at the start of the next turn. This is strong. It's going to swing a lot of life into your favor, potentially net you a ton of life, change the tempo of the game, provide you a bunch of 2/2 creatures. They're not flying or anything like that, but they're going to be able to block, or you don't even have to put the counters onto them. You put counters on the other creatures that you control. Make one really large creature. And then trample lifelink in there. Solid card. I think you have to give it... The fact that it just comes down and makes 3 1/1s for 4 is okay. But then it will follow up and provide you 2 additional effects that are also good. So I'm going to give it a B. Just a flat B. And I think that's good. That's a solid rating for it. Severance Priest for white, black, green. Death Touch for a 3/3 rare. Whenever this creature enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, exile that card. So you get to exile a card from their hand. Okay. When this creature leaves the battlefield, the exiled card's owner creates an XX white spirit creature token where X is the mana value of the exiled card. This is good. You just get rid of their biggest threat, and then it turns into something. Turns into an XX. This is going to backfire some portion of the time. However, I do think it's good. And then whenever it does get into combat with something, it's going to trade. It has Death Touch. You're not going to want to be swinging with it too much, I don't think. But at the very least, it's going to take care of whatever you think is the biggest problem in their hand. Next up, we have Skirmish Rhino, Siege Rhino's little brother. He's a 3/4 instead of a 4/5. He's got white, black, and a green for his cost. And he's a Trampler. He's still a Rhino. Whenever this creature enters, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Very simple, straightforward card. This card's got to be an A-. just because he's an Amish Siege Rhino, he's an A-. Yathan, Road Watcher, 1 white and a black and a green. When this creature enters, if you cast it, mill 4 cards. When you do, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. He's just going to probably get you a mana value 3 or less card back from your graveyard. If it's a higher value card, you're super happy about this. This thing's really good. This seems really playable. Definitely a B+ at least. Flamehold Grappler for Jeskai, blue, red, white. First strike, 3/3. When this creature enters, copy the next spell you cast this turn. When you cast it, you may choose new targets for the copy. This is good. So it's wannabe Snapcaster-y mage without prowess, but it's a monk with first strike. It's good. It's just, it has to be used in the same turn. It's probably better in a constructed format, honestly. But you will see people use this to get 2 spells off in a turn. And then you duplicate that spell as well, so it's cool. I just think it's cool. It's the mana's a little rough on it, but it's got to be a B, B-, I think, maybe. Just not that big, but it does have first strike, so if you're able to pump it, I just don't think there's too many pumps available for it that don't already provide first strike, so that's where I'll put it. Jeskai Brushmaster. He's the master of the brushes. 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white. Double strike prowess. Very simple card. It's a good card. If you're able to double spell while this is already on the board and you swing with it, you're potentially hitting them for 8. Pretty good. So that's 8 on 5. This is really aggressive. It's a really aggressive card. Let's just give it a... I want to say it's a B. Just a flat B. I'll give it a flat B. Alright, next up we have Jeskai Revelation. Pay 4, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white. Return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. Jeskai Revelation deals 4 damage to any target. Create 2 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. Draw 2 cards, then gain 4 life. Holy shit, it's Sphinx's Revelation, but better. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's better. I don't know if it's better. This is a good card. So it's a Helix for 4. Create 2 1/1s. Draw 2 cards. And then if you were able to go to the next turn and this stabilized you, you're going to just fucking do it again because you're going to draw another one. This card's kind of nuts. This has to be an A. I want to play this in standard. Jeskai Shrinekeeper. Flying haste. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may... Was that instant? It is instant. That's so good. Deals combat damage to a player, you gain 1 life and draw a card. This is good. It'll probably come down. It'll probably attack. You'll probably draw a card. We'll give it a B. Pretty simple card. It's pretty aggressive. Monastery Messenger. Blue, red, white, or 2 colorless for each of them. Flying Vigilance. When this creature enters, put up to 1 target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard on top of your library. I don't... It's not bad. It's just side. You're not always in the market for bringing one of your spells back on top of your library. Plus your opponent gets to see which one it is. It's okay. I just don't think there's too many of them that you're going to want to try to pick. If you do get an Ugin, though, something like that, for sure. Grab a couple of them, play Jeskai. Infinite Ugin. So that's kind of where I'd go with this card. Overall, I think this is the C+. Yeah. Narset, Jeskai Waymaster. You better be good, Narset. At the beginning of your end step, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. You're a 3/4 for 3. And sometimes I'll draw some cards. You're not bad. You gotta be a B+. Just because of the stat line. Mana's going to be a little rough on it, but mana's a little rough on everything in this format, so we're not really judging things based on their mana cost too harshly, I don't think. We're assuming that we're going to be able to cast our spells. New Way Forward. 2, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 white. The next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. So this is what the fist palm thing. When damage is prevented this way, New Way Forward deals that much damage to that source's controller, and you draw that many cards. This is like Sphinx's Revelation, but better. Nobody really looks at this card like that. So if they're swinging at you with a 7/7, you just block it. Then it's like gaining 7, drawing 7 for 5. If you had Sphinx's Revelation in your hand, you would have drawn 2, gained 2. But it really depends. I don't think they're going to be hitting you with that many 1/1s. Even if you just... So, if you, at worst case scenario, use this on a 2/2. In draft, this is completely fucking busted. This is busted. You're going to be able to block a giant source of damage and then you're just going to win because of it. 100%. Like 100%. It's just what's going to happen. Worst case scenario, you Sphinx's Rev with it by using it on bear. This card's so good. Dude, plus you also get to deal damage to them. Like, I don't understand. What's this? Like, why? Why not play Jeskai forever? This is good. This card's good. I have to look this up. It's interesting because it doesn't work in every scenario. I'd have to just look at the other decks and the, what was it? I just want to look at the other decks in the format and see what I would think about this card. This card is insane, I think. Yeah, it's got to be B+. A-. I'm playing this if I get it. Rediscover the Way for Jeskai. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay, so it's basically pick 2 of the top 6, kind of. That's good. So this is a 2 for 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell this turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. Okay, this is good. Got to be a B+. It's a little slow, but picking one of the top 3 and then picking one of the top 3 again. So if you look at this in comparison to like a divination, you'd pay 3 to just draw 2. This way, you pay 3, it comes down, you pick one of the top 3, and then at the start of your next turn, when you would be untapping from the divination you played anyway, you still get to pick one of the next 3. So this is one of the, in my opinion, best 3-drop draw spells. It also gets around things that prevent you from drawing extra cards. Because if you're looking at a certain amount of cards and then placing one into your hand, it's different than if you were drawing a card. So this is actually a really good card. B+. Riverwheel Sweep. Tap target creature, put 3 stun counters on it. Say goodbye to your creature. It's been swept. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. I'm not the biggest fan of this effect, but when it comes attached to something that can potentially be game-changing, where you're, tapping a creature down for multiple turns at a time, stun counters, ice counters, I don't care what it is. Sorcery. It's the big deal here, I think. I'm still playing this in draft if I'm Jeskai. I'm probably playing it if I'm Mardu. Mardu, you would just it's 4 mana, tap down their creature. And you're happy for those kind of draw effects in Mardu. So, this card's good. Overall, B, flat B. Chico. Hey, look at it, Chico. Paragon of the way. There ain't no way. For 5 mana, Flying Vigilance. When Chico enters, exile target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. Copy it, then you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Well, it just says non-land. I don't know. It's good. It's very good. So you can copy anything basically, just win. This is a good card. This is like a A plus bomb. Vigilance, it attacks, it blocks. It's good. It's already done its damage, so you don't care if you're trading with it. Destroy target non-land permanent for 3. That's really good. Mill 3 cards. Not that good. You may discard a card. When you do, return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Oh, my phone's going off. Oh, that's fine. Return target creature or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, that's good. I'm going to say B-. I just like the destroy non-land permanent. The fact that it gets you a card back is good. You know, you could discard your land card, get a card back. So, this is probably a B+. This is probably a B+. It's one of the best removal. Yeah, if not the best removal. It's just, it's hard. It's hard. I don't know if it's better than the other one because this one's hard stuck at these colors. The other one was modal colors. Death Begets Life, 5 in black, green, blue. Destroy all creatures and enchantments. Draw a card for each permanent destroyed this way. This card's insane. If you cast this, you should win the game. So, A+. Fangkeeper's Familiar. For Sultai. Flash. When this creature enters, choose one. You gain 3 life and surveil 3. Destroy target enchantment. Counter target creature spell. This card's also nuts. This is an A. Counter any dragon. Put a 3/3 on the board. Just this card's nuts. When this creature enters, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may put one of those cards back on the top of your library. Put the rest into your graveyard. I think this card's good. It's just just questioning whether or not I'd play it in other colors other than Sultai. You may put one of those cards back on top of your library. This is actually pretty good. I just think it's a little overcosted. It is only a 3/3 for 3, but if you're in these colors and you're attempting to play any graveyard shenanigans, this is a good one. If that's the case, I think it's just a B-. The stat line is still fine. But the stat line for everything is good in this set if you can cast it. Kiru Goldkeeper. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard during your turn, create a treasure token. Interesting. Flying for 4. Renew. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put 2 +1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target creature. Activate only as sorcery. This is a really good card. It turns a 3/3 flyer into another threat. Has big synergies with Renew. I think I want to give this card like a B. I think it's very good. Kotus the Fangkeeper. Indestructible. When Kotus deals combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. I mean, it's good. It's going to keep... It's just... I like the fact that it's indestructible. It can block forever. I don't really need anything else other than that. It gets killed by the -1 spell. But that's something to just keep in mind. Coffee. This is actually kind of a bomby card. I think it's an A. A minus. I want to give it an A minus just because it's indestructible. It's good. Lion Weight next up. Sultai, black, green, blue. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Lion Weight deals damage equal to that creature's card's power to the target creature. It's not bad if you have good bombs. I mean, this is going to be good. It's a good, decent removal. I think it's a B minus. It's a little situational. It requires you to have cards in your graveyard, things like that. Lotus Light Dancers. 2 black, green, and blue. Lifelink. When this creature enters, search your library for a black card, a green card, and a blue card. Put those cards into your graveyard, then shuffle. I don't know if I like this. You're forced to do it. Yeah, I could see this like backfiring hard. I could also see this being really, really, really strong. I want to give this card like a C minus, just because I can see it backfiring extremely hard. You get to the part in the game where you don't want to put the only 3 threats in your deck into your graveyard, and you just have to. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. It's instant. It's honestly not as good as the other draw card. I think this is good. Give it a C plus, a B minus. It's just good for what it does. Taval, Arbiter, Virtue, 2 black, green, blue. Flying lifelink spells you cast have Delve. That's what I like to see. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana cost. That's not what you like to see. It is a lifelinker, though. This is a bomb. This is the biggest lifelinker I've seen. It's overstated at 6. This is an A+. All Out Assault from Mardu. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. When this enchantment enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When your next attack this turn, untap each creature you control. Okay. So you basically permanently get 2/2s from your Mobilize. All your creatures have Death Touch. Nothing can be blocked. If you're playing Mobilize, this is exactly where you want to be. And it'll probably win you the game. Especially if you curved out into it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is an A. A enchantment. Bone Cairn Butcher. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black. Mobilize 2. Attacking tokens you control have Death Touch. This is also insanely good. This is also an A minus probably. First pickable, I would say. Mardu, Defibrillating Current deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain 2 life. Okay, this is insane. Insanely first pickable. It's wannabe Lightning Helix. I don't know if it's first pickable. It is sorcery, but it's definitely playable. I'm going to give this card a B+. Inevitable Defeat. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black. The spell can't be countered. Exile target non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. Alright, so we get to Helix their face and exile a non-land permanent for 4 mana. This is an A. This might be the best removal. It also cannot be countered. Mardu Siegebreaker. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black. Death Touch Haste for a 4/4. That's also really well statted. When this creature enters, exile it to 1 target creature you control until a creature leaves the battlefield. Whenever this creature attacks, for each opponent, create a tap token that's a copy of the exiled card attacking that opponent. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice those tokens. Okay, so this card's just nuts. It turns one of your other creatures into an indestructible, kind of. This is like the closest thing you can get to like a mount. Like what an actual mount would be, you know what I mean? Like it's just like this is, you'd lose your mount. This is cool. I like this. This is a really good card. I think this is an A. Mardu's looking good. Narrative, Heart of the Storm. For 4 mana. Flying, if a creature you control that entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. So he just synergizes with Hasters. It's a 4/5 for 4. This is one of the more lackluster dragons I've seen so far, I think. I think that this is just a B+, but it's very well stated. Reigning Victor, mobilize 1 when this creature... Oh, wait. Your mobilized creatures deal double damage. When this creature enters, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. You've got it. That's fine. So it can swing. It triggers mobilize. It has mobilize. It's a 3/3. This is a good card. B. Sonic Shrieker, 2/1 red, 1 white, 1 black. Flying. When this creature enters, it deals 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. If a player is dealt damage this way, they discard a card. This is really good. I'm happy to helix them and make them discard a card for a card they're probably going to have to use a card to get rid of. This card is really good. So I'm going to have to give this a B+. Thunder of Unity. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black. You draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. So it's, read the bones or whatever. Whenever a creature you control enters this turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This card's kind of nuts. I didn't know this was a card, but the fact that the mobilized tokens are going to gain you a literal boatload of life is insane. This has to make this at least a B+ level bomb. If not more, it just really depends on your deck. This is a B. This has got to be a B+. So it just replaces itself and then does a lot of draining. So that's a good card. Zergo, Thunder's Decree. 1 red, 1 white, 1 black. Mobilize 2. During your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. So all your mobilized tokens that would otherwise die every single turn are no longer dying. They're permanent. This has to be an A, if not A+ bomb, for the Mardu or mobilized decks. You're playing this card 10 out of 10 times. You first pick this card. This card is nuts. Making an infinite army of tokens is just insanity. Next up, we have Teamer, Dragonback Assault. 3, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 red. When this enchantment enters, it deals 3 damage to each creature and to each planeswalker, so it's a board wipe. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. This card's nuts. This has to be A+, without a doubt. Easiest A+ in my life. My lands are now 4/4 dragons. If I had fetch lands, my fetch lands would be 2 4/4 dragons. Double the power and toughness of target creature you control until end of turn. Then it fights up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Okay. That's good. I mean, you can just clear out a blocker and then you can swing. This has to be B-. It is sorcery. Maybe it's a C+. Eshki, Dragonclaw, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 red. Vigilance Trample, Ward 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, draw a card and put 2 +1/+1 counters on Eshki, Dragonclaw. This is not going to be easy for you to trigger, but if you do, it just gets bigger. And it keeps replacing itself. This has to be a B+, at least. It's good. Karakik, Guardian. 3, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 red. Flying, Vigilance Trample. This creature has hexproof. If it hasn't dealt damage yet. Okay. Still a 6/5 Flample Vigilance. It's a good card. This is one of the better uncommons, I think. They can't deal with it without waiting. This is gotta be a B, B plus. Yeah, that's where we're gonna go with that one. Create a 5/5 green elephant creature token for 5. Harmonize, you can do it again. This card's good. It's just 2 5/5s, giant 5/5s. I think this has got to be a B plus. You'll probably be able to harmonize it out again the next turn, and you'll just have 2 5/5s. They're going to be upset. Next up, Drawing of End the Song. For 2, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 red. Create a 5/5 green elephant creature token. Then you get to do it again the next turn. Double the power and toughness of each creature you control until the end of turn. Okay, well that's not a win more. This has to be a B plus, if not A minus. The fact that it makes 2 5/5 green elephants for 5 is just nuts. I think that alone, without much bounce in the format, just makes this card insane. Songcrafter Mage for Teamer Flash. When this creature enters, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains Harmonized until end of turn. Its Harmonized cost is equal to its mana cost. So you can then just cast something from your graveyard. It's really not that good. I want to give him a B minus. If you compare him to Snapcaster Mage or anything like that, he's just not as good. Teamer Battlecry for Teamer colors. During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control, power 4 or greater. So this is one of those 4 greater cards we've talked about before. I don't think it's that great, but it is a 4/3 for 3. I mean, it's over the stat line. I think you just have to give it a B. It's nothing, not that fantastic. It does help you ramp out. So, it's pretty good. When this creature enters, draw a card, then discard a card for Teamer. He's pretty good. Filters your hand. He's pretty strong. And he's got to be a B. It's a B. Gets the land out of your hand and then gives you another card. Ureni, the Song Unending, for 8 mana. Flying, protection from white and from black. I think I saw this card. Spirit Dragon, 10/10. When Ureni enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers with your opponent controls, where X is the number of lands you control. So you're probably just going to win the game when you play this card. It's going to come down. It's going to be one-sided board wipe. I don't know why more people aren't trying to play this card, but you're just going to win. Call the Spirit Dragons. All the colors in the world. Woodward. Dragons you control have indestructible. At the beginning of your upkeep, for each color, put a +1/+1 counter on a dragon you control of that color. If you put a +1/+1 counter, if you put a +1/+1 counters on 5, why does it say counters? If you put a +1/+1 counter on 5 dragons this way, you win the game. Is this really what it says? Is that how you're supposed to read this? If you put +1/+1 counters, okay. I said if you put A. I put A there. Never mind. I'm the dumb one. It is fine. You win the game. Oh, on to Colorless. Alright, Ugin, Eye of the Storms. When you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So he just comes out and exiles shit. Kind of nuts. You gain 3 life and draw a card, and then he's going to draw you cards. Then he's going to search the library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle until the end of your turn. You may cast those cards without paying those mana costs. This card is nuts. He's just going to keep gaining you 3 life and drawing you a card every turn, And then whenever you cast a colorless spell, which you don't have many of, I don't think, unless you're playing Ugin, you probably have some colorless spells put in your deck just for that. Abzan Monument. We already looked at some of these. Or no, we haven't looked at these yet. I've seen some of these before. When this artifact enters, search your library for a basic Plain Swamp Forest, reveal it. These are all going to have the Plain Swamp Forest, reveal it thing. Give me just 1 second here. Oh, the doggy's in here. That's all it was. It's just the doggo. Then you can pay a certain amount of mana to do something with it. So then you pay 4 to have sacrifice artifact, create a XX white spirit creature token where X is the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so you can make a rather decently sized creature. I don't think this is very good. You have to have a creature on the board that's got a large toughness in order to take advantage of it. I think this is probably going to be a C. C minus. Boulderborn Dragon, Flying Vigilance. Whenever this creature attacks, Surveil 1. It's good. It's solid. It's just a little overcosted for what it does. So it can attack, it can block. It's decent. You'll play it if you have Ugin, probably. That's what you'll do. Overall, it's probably a C minus. Or I mean, not C minus. It's probably a C. Dragonfire Blade. Woohoo! Creature gets +2/+2 and hexproof from monocolored. Equip 4. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each color of the creature it targets. Okay, that's good. I mean, that's a good card. You're gonna pick this whenever you see it. You're gonna play it. It's probably in A minus, B plus territory. It's good though. So, checks. Quit throwing your water around. Dragonstorm Globe for 3. Each dragon you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. This is good. I just like the tap, add 1 mana of any color. If you're playing 5 color deck, this is probably something you're potentially in the market for one or two of. I don't think you'd want 2. I think you want 1. Okay, he's good. Alright, next up, Embermouth Sentinel for 2. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, shuffle, put that card on top. If you control a dragon, put that card onto the battlefield tapped instead. Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. I wish you could behold a dragon. It's a 2/1. The fact that it goes on top, I don't like. The fact that it does have that clause, I do like. I think I just want to give this card a B minus just because it's a bear at its worst. It could be a C plus. I think it's a C plus. Jadecast Sentinel for 4. Reach 1/5. This target. Put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Excuse me. 2 and tap. Put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. I don't really like this card. I don't like these kind of cards. They're boring. They suck. I think this is a D. Jeskai Monument for 2. When this artifact enters, search your library for basic land, a basic island, mountain, or plain. Reveal it. Put it in your hand, then shuffle. Pay 4. Sacrifice this artifact. Create 2/1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying. Activate only as a sorcery. I do like this one. This one's going to get you some value. It's going to create 2 creatures that you can deal. They're going to have to deal with. That can chump block flyers. This might be the best one of these we've seen so far. We're just going to give it a B. Mardu Monument. Let's see. See if I can beat it. Get a mountains, plains, or swamp from your library for 2. Search this artifact, or sacrifice this artifact. Create 3 warrior creature tokens. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. Okay, so they don't die, but they gain menace and haste until end of turn. That's good. This is a solid aggressive one for sure. This might be something that you're in the market for. Maybe if you're playing Mardu. I don't really think so. On turn 2, you don't really want to play this, but it's okay. I want to give it a B minus just because it's the Mardu one. But if you're deep into the 3 colors, you probably end up playing this anyway. You'd just rather get lucky, draw the 3 lands you want, and play your cards. It's just how you come out faster. There is a 0 costing spell in the format, which is good. That works really well for all the Jeskai stuff. Add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if you control a dragon. That's not very good. I mean, it's probably like a D. It's probably a D. C minus. Sultai Monument. When this artifact enters, search for a swamp, forest, or island. Put it in your hand. Pay 5. Tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Create 2 2/2 black zombie druid creature tokens. Activate only as a sorcery. This is okay. I want to give it a B minus. It's just not that good. It's just 2 2/2s. It's okay. Teamer. When this artifact enters, search for a forest, island, or mountain. Pay 6. Sack it. Create a 5/5 elephant creature token. Activate only as a sorcery. This one's pretty good. 6 mana for a 5/5. I want to give this one a B. Well, I want to give this one a B minus. If any one of them's good, it's probably this one and the other one that we were looking at earlier. Watcher of the Wayside. When this creature enters, target player mills 2 cards, you gain 2 life. This is fine. I mean, you probably play this, you have Ugin. Maybe. It just gets you there. You gain 2 life, it's a decent sized blocker. Make them mill 2. This is an interesting card. I want to give him a C, but I think he could actually be better than that. They have all the tap lands that are shared, come in, gain a life. Those are all good. Talked about that before. If you are in any of these colors, unless you're in Mardu, Mardu's the only thing you consider not taking as many tap lands. So this enters tapped unless you control a plane or an island. So they have all of these in rares, I believe. For every color, exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. This is good. It's a little expensive, but it's good. Very good late game land. This is the white one. For 2 and a white tap. Whenever you attack this turn, create 2 1/1 red turn. Sacrifice them. So they are the sacrifice version of the token, the warrior tokens. This is pretty good for aggressive decks, for sure. It does require you to have an attacking creature, so it's not that good. That's probably going to be a hindrance on that one. Okay, they have all these. These are all like S tier lands to take for sure. Because if you're seeing couple copies of these, and you see like even taking this one, if you're playing Jeskai is good. And then you could potentially splash a green card. Super, super nice to play these lands. Great Irration City. This land enters tapped unless you control a forest or a plains. Pay 2. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a 1/1 white spirit creature token. I like this one. No, I don't. You have to. The clauses on these are really bad. The clauses on those are really bad. This land enters tapped, you gain 1 life. This land enters tapped unless you control a swap. Surveil 2. Sure. This might be one of the better ones. Any dragon or omen spell can be cast with this one. Oh, okay, so this is going to be the thing. Pay 4, tap, sacrifice this land, search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, put it in your hand. You're just going to chain dragons. Got it. This card's insane. So for 2 mana, your next spell is uncounterable. That's kind of good. That's kind of good. That's kind of insane. Okay, moving on. All of the 3 color lands. Very good, very good. Life gain land, very good. Life gain land, life gain land. Very good, very good, very good. Are these actual cards? Yes, they are, but how many of them are there? Oh, those are the commanders. These are the spoiler cards. So we've got the 5 fetches from the original And that were made and printed in the Zendikar ones, and we have all the ultimatums. Do the ultimatums real quick. Eerie ultimatum: return any number of permanent cards from your different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think if you get these in draft, you could still use them. So we're gonna go over them. This is good. Insane. You're gonna be able to bring everything back from your graveyard to the battlefield. This has got to be an S or an A. Sorry, we're not using S's. This has got to be an A plus. A. Inspired ultimatum. Target player gains 5 life. Inspired ultimatum does 5 damage to any target. Then you draw 5 cards. This is insane. It has to be an A. A plus. Emergent ultimatum. This is the one that everybody already knows. You can search for 3, whatever. They can play 2. This has to be for draft. It's probably not. This might actually be like a fucking B plus somehow. Ruinous ultimatum: destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. One-sided board wipe. This is an S, A, whatever, however you want to put it. Genesis ultimatum: look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of permanents cards from among them on the battlefield, and the rest of them from your hand or into your hand. This is always going to be worth casting. This is definitely an A. So you're just going to cast this and play anything for free. GG's. We already did those. I think you can play those if you get them. This is onto the commander. All right. Well, that concludes the review. I hope you all enjoyed. And the set releases tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow. Pretty much all day due to the release. So come tune in. Follow me on twitch.tv/skibbity-doo. And over here on YouTube, click that subscribe, like button. I appreciate y'all for being here, and I'll catch you next time.